If you're looking to get your finances in order but don't know where to start, this video will provide a checklist and some practical tips to help you ensure that you're on track to meet your goals. Hello and welcome back to the Steadyhand YouTube channel where we make investing simpler and more enjoyable. My name is Lisa, and in today's video, I'll be discussing some key steps that you can take to set yourself up for a successful year ahead. We'll first cover general tips that apply to everyone, and then we'll cover some specific and practical tips that you may find helpful depending on your situation. So let's get started. Tip number 1 is to automate your investments and your savings. That means if you have money coming in from a job or from other sources, it's set aside for retirement or your other savings goals automatically. You don't have to worry about whether you're saving enough because it just happens. Not only can you set up money to be automatically moved into your savings bank account, you can also automate it to be invested into your investment accounts. This will also combat the urge to time the market. Instead, you'll just be investing the same amounts each month, regardless of how the market is doing. This will be more effective in helping to reach your goals because time in the market is always better than timing the market. That ties in with the next tip, number 2. In order to effectively automate your investments, you should have an idea of what you're investing for by setting and defining financial goals and being confident that the amount you're automatically investing is actually enough or at least on track to meet that goal. When setting financial goals, defining a time frame and an approximate dollar amount needed for that goal is key. Maybe you want to pay off debt or save for a down payment for a house or build up your emergency fund. Whatever your goals may be sure to follow the SMART goal rule, which is to make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This will help you stay motivated and focused throughout the year. For example, if you plan to buy a car, ask yourself realistically, when do you need to buy it and what price range are you going to aim for? If your budget is $20,000 for a car that you plan to buy in 3 years, simply divide the total amount by the number of months, and this gives you a sense that you need to put away about $555 a month to reach your goal. Of course, that is a very simple and short-term example. If you have bigger goals that are much farther away, such as retirement, you don't have to be as exact. As your goals change, including the time frame or the target amount, you should be adjusting your automated investments accordingly. Tip number 3 is to evaluate your financial products. When we say financial products, we're talking everything from credit cards, bank accounts, and of course your investments. Are you getting the best rates or have the best terms? Are you paying too much in fees? And do you even know what you're paying in fees? This is a great time to get out the statements and evaluate your situation and decide whether it's worth shopping around to find products that better suit your needs. We do have a fee tree sort of infographic that can help you decide if your investment fees are too high, so we'll put the link to that in the description. Tip number 4 would be to protect your assets. We spend our whole lives trying to save and grow our hard-earned money, and we don't often spend enough time thinking about what happens to our money if something happens to us. So this may include creating a will, or if you already have one, just reviewing it and making sure that it's up to date with your current wishes. It could be getting insurance or setting up a power of attorney. These steps can help ensure that your loved ones are taken care of in the event that something happens to you. And it also ensures that your hard-earned money is distributed the way that you want. So those are the 4 general tips that I would recommend everyone do to start the new year off right. Before I get into the practical tips, I just wanted to share that if you're interested in receiving a free copy of our ebook called It's Really Not Rocket Science, Plain English Advice for Managing Your Investments, written by Tom Bradley, then just make sure to click the link in the description to enter your information on which email we should send it to, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Now for some quick practical tips that may apply to you depending on your situation. Firstly, if you have any high interest debt over 6% or more, focus on clearing that off and make it a priority to pay down. Next would be to ensure that you're maximizing the amount of free money you can get. And what I mean by that is if you have a group RSP or if your employer offers RSP matching, that means you can put a certain amount of your pay in and they would match that amount. That's a great benefit. Very important to utilize it when possible because it's a great way to grow that long-term wealth. Similarly, if you have children and an RESP, a registered education savings plan is a priority to you, make sure that you're doing what you can to get the maximum grant money. Another important thing would be to know what your RRSP and TFSA contribution limits are. This is personal to each Canadian, and unless you're paying for them to do so, don't expect your investment advisor or your bank to be tracking this for you. It's up to you to know how much room you have available and to avoid over-contributing, which will get you penalized by the CRA. So go to your CRA online profile and find that information. Keep in mind that early on in the year, the CRA may not have all the information from your financial institutions yet. So those figures may not have factored in your transactions from the previous year. So just dig in to confirm whether that figure is or isn't including the transactions from the previous year, but at least that way you know where you're at. The start of the new year is a great time to also review any recurring expenses. That includes monthly subscriptions that you no longer get value from, or really any type of recurring expense such as gym memberships, internet bill, cell phone bill. Great time to shop around and see if you can get lower rates or any package deals. It's also a great time to review your emergency fund or your emergency reserve if you don't already have one. And if you do have one, make sure that it's enough to cover your basic needs and your bills if you were unable to work for a prolonged period of time. Especially with the cost of living going up, your monthly expenses may have increased by more than you expected, so it's just a good time to review this. There are a few rules of thumb saying your emergency fund should cover anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. Depending on your living situation and the options available to you or your type of employment, this can really vary. So pick an amount that's comfortable for you and that's realistic. And finally, ask yourself, have you booked any time off? Or do you have enough resources for experiences and relationships that are important to you? Of course, money is just a tool to help us live our lives comfortably, but investing in our mental and physical health is just as important. So that is all of the tips. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful and useful in trying to set yourself up for a successful year. For Steadyhand, one of our New Year's goals is actually to be more active on this channel. So we have a lot more content planned this year. If you'd like to keep up with us, please make sure to subscribe. And we hope you found this video helpful.